Are we feeding illness into our mind material? When caution becomes fear. Hi friends, this is Dr. Rekhaa Kale, your success mindset mentor, and welcome once again to the mind material within us. In the previous episodes, we have been exploring how our experiences, surroundings, habits, relationships, food and the information we consume may contribute to the material that exists within our minds. Today, I want to explore something slightly different. Can repeated thoughts about illness actually become part of our mind material? Think about the messages we hear every day. You should get yourself checked regularly. You must keep monitoring your health. You need this supplement. You should take care of this deficiency. You must be careful about this disease. After a certain age, you have to watch out for this. Don't ignore this symptom. Some of these messages are genuinely useful. Medical screening can detect certain conditions early. Treatment can save lives. Nutritional deficiencies sometimes do require appropriate supplementation. So this episode is not about rejecting medical advice. It is about something much more subtle. What happens when healthy caution slowly turns into constant fear? Suppose a person repeatedly hears, "You never know what might be wrong inside your body. Even if you feel perfectly healthy, something could be developing. You have to keep checking. You have to keep testing. You have to keep worrying." Slowly, something may begin to happen inside the mind. The person starts observing the body constantly. A small headache becomes frightening. A little tiredness becomes suspicious. A change in appetite becomes a warning sign. A normal sensation becomes something to investigate. And eventually, the person may begin to think, "My body cannot be trusted." Now pause for a moment. What kind of mind material is being created? The body and the mind are not two completely isolated worlds. Our thoughts can influence our emotions. Our emotions can influence our behavior. Our expectations can influence how we interpret bodily sensations. And research into the nocebo effect has shown that negative expectations can contribute to the experience of symptoms or adverse effects. In other words, sometimes the expectation that something will make us feel bad can itself become part of the experience. This is fascinating, because the same mind that can be influenced by fear can also be influenced by reassurance, confidence and understanding. So let us consider two people. Both experience a minor, temporary bodily sensation. Person A immediately thinks, "Something is seriously wrong with me." Person B thinks, "Something feels different. Let me observe it. If it persists or concerns me, I'll get appropriate medical advice." The physical sensation may initially be identical, but the mental reaction can be completely different. And that reaction itself becomes another experience stored in memory. This is where our inquiry begins. Are we teaching our minds, "My body is fragile and constantly under threat"? Or are we teaching our minds, "My body deserves attention, care and appropriate medical support, but I don't have to live in fear of it"? There's a profound difference between the two. Awareness is not the same as anxiety. Prevention is not the same as fear. Medical care is not the same as dependence. And perhaps most importantly, caution should not become a permanent state of alarm. Think about the language we use. You must be careful. You may develop this. You could have that. You need to monitor everything. You cannot remain healthy without this. Repeated often enough, such statements can become beliefs. And beliefs become part of our mind material. But there is another interesting question. What happens when commercial messages become mixed with health messages? Everywhere we look, we may encounter products promising more energy, better immunity, better sleep, better digestion, better bones, better memory, better skin, better aging, better everything. Again, some products may have legitimate uses. Some people genuinely need particular medicines or supplements. But the psychological message hidden underneath some advertising can be, "You are incomplete without our product." And if that message is repeated often enough, could a person begin to believe, "My body is not capable enough. Something is always missing. I need something from outside to remain healthy"? That belief itself becomes interesting material for our inquiry. What are we repeatedly feeding our minds? Imagine a child repeatedly being told, "Don't go there. You will fall. Don't eat that. You will fall sick. Don't do this. Something will happen. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. The intention may be love. The intention may be protection. But what does the child gradually learn? Perhaps the world is dangerous. And perhaps later, my body is vulnerable. And perhaps even, I must constantly protect myself from something. This is not to say that caution is unnecessary. Children need guidance. Adults need responsible health behavior. But there's a difference between teaching intelligent caution and creating a permanent expectation of danger. That difference deserves our attention. So let us conduct a small experiment. For the next few days, observe your own thoughts about your health. Not your medical reports. Not your diagnosis. Not your doctor's advice. Simply observe your thoughts. How often do you think, something may be wrong? I hope I don't get this. I must take something or I'll become weak. I need to check this again. I am getting older, so naturally something will go wrong. I cannot remain healthy without taking something. And then ask yourself, did this thought come from my own direct experience? Or did I hear it somewhere? Did somebody tell me? Did I read it? Did I watch it? Did an advertisement suggest it? Did someone else's experience frighten me? Or has it simply been repeated so many times that I now consider it a fact about myself? This is the kind of inquiry that this series is encouraging. We are not rejecting reality. We are examining the material with which our minds are being constructed. If there's a genuine health concern, investigate it. If a doctor recommends a test, take the advice seriously. If treatment is required, seek appropriate treatment. If a supplement is medically indicated, use it appropriately. But alongside all of this, perhaps we should also develop another habit. Don't feed unnecessary fear into the mind. Because fear repeated over and over again can become familiar. And what becomes familiar can begin to feel normal. And what feels normal can become part of our identity. There's another beautiful possibility. Instead of repeatedly telling ourselves, my body is weak, perhaps we can learn to say, I will take reasonable care of my body. Instead of, something is always going wrong, we can say, I will observe my body intelligently without constantly fearing it. Instead of, I cannot be healthy without something external, we can say, I will give my body appropriate nutrition, rest, movement, medical care when needed, and allow it to do what it is naturally designed to do. That is a very different mind material. It is not careless. It is not anti-medical. It is not blind optimism. It is balanced awareness. And perhaps this is the deeper lesson. We spend a great deal of time thinking about what we put into our stomachs. We carefully ask, is this food healthy? But perhaps we should occasionally ask, is this thought healthy for me? Because just as food becomes material for the body, repeated thoughts become material for the mind. And if we are careful about what we feed the body, perhaps we should be equally curious about what we repeatedly feed the mind. So today, don't judge yourself. Don't judge anyone else. Don't stop any medication. Don't avoid a necessary checkup. Simply observe. Observe the health-related messages that surround you. Observe the fears they create. Observe the thoughts that keep returning. And then ask yourself, what kind of mind material am I creating through these repeated thoughts? Maybe you will discover that some of your fears are genuinely useful signals. Maybe some are unnecessary. Maybe some have simply been inherited from family. Maybe some have come from society. Maybe some have come from advertising. And maybe some have come from your own past experiences. The purpose is not to reject them. The purpose is to know them. Because once we know what is inside our mind material, we have a much better opportunity to decide what deserves to remain there. I am Dr. Rekhaa Kale, your success mindset mentor, and this is the mind material within us. Keep observing, keep inquiring, and remember, we cannot always control everything that enters our environment. But we can become increasingly conscious of what we allow to become a permanent part of our mind material. Thank you for being with me. Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep looking within.